rise of the GodKillers.
Rage Episode 2. A bar in Parana. Weary from the vicious attack he had just survived, Rage leaned against a nearby tree. His ribs ached, his head was throbbing, and his jaw felt out of place.
I need a drink,
he thought as he pushed himself off the tree. Beaten and battered, he slowly made his way out of the rainforest and eventually stopped in a small town just south of Parana, Brazil. He headed straight for the closest bar, pub, or tavern he could find, finally finding some old, run-down dive in the middle of the town. As he entered what only generously could be called a bar, everyone stared at him.
Can I help you, son?
Yeah, give me something real strong with no ice. Oh, and pops. I ain't your son, got it?
Usually, the bartender would not have taken such verbal abuse, especially from some strange young nobody. But there was something about this guy's red-eyed stare that made him feel nervous. Wisely, the bartender quickly served Rage the strongest drink in his stock and watched as Rage slammed it down like it was Kool-Aid.
This the strongest you got? Just give me another in a bigger glass this time. Make sure you keep them coming, Pops.
The bartender did as Rage requested and sent another his way. Rage felt the stares of the other bar patrons and heard their whispers, but he cared not. His long black hair draped over his face as he slammed down another empty glass on the bar. Of course, human nature rule number 37 clearly states that someone always has to mess with the new guy in town, especially if that guy is just trying to mind his own business. So of course, it wasn't long before...
What the f*** do you keep looking at that kid for? I haven't been buying you drinks all night so that you could stare at some dirty-looking, long-haired piece of trash. Looks like he just came out of the forest or something.
Calm down, baby. I only have eyes for you, you know that. I was just wondering who he was, that's all.
Don't lie to me.
The man shouted as he backhanded the woman.
That's what you get. I'm trying to treat you like a lady and you act like a whore.
The man staggered out of his seat. He had had one too many, and his blood was boiling with anger. The forest boy would pay for stealing his lady friend's attention.
You know who I am? I'm a Diablo. And you ain't. You hear me, kid? You ain't.
Rage continued drinking, ignoring the man's alcohol-induced rants.
Oh, so I guess you deaf or something. Well, maybe you can hear this.
The tourist couple, who had just stopped in to sample the small town's infamous cachaça, hastily departed. Everyone else in the bar was used to seeing a shooting or two, as it had become a very common occurrence. In fact, most of the bar's regular patrons were part of the Diablos, a ruthless gang of thugs that were responsible for the violence and vice that had plagued the small town for decades.
Look at me when I'm talking to you, punk. Maybe if I blew your...
Without spilling a drop of liquor, Rage snatched out the drunken Diablo's Adam's apple and threw it on the floor. The man fell to the ground, desperately grabbing his throat. The bartender froze in horror. The Diablo's girlfriend fainted, and the other gang members in the bar were stupefied by what they had just witnessed. A man getting his Adam's apple ripped from his neck was not a common occurrence at the bar. Rage, however, calmly threw down another drink. The paralyzing shock that the violent act had just caused evidently wore off because a storm of bullets flew in Rage's general direction. The bartender ducked under the bar as the bullets sailed directly through the image that Rage had left of himself. Rage had jumped safely to the bar's ceiling. He then launched himself from the ceiling towards the trigger-happy gunman so that he could return the favor. Violent, bloody carnage would only begin to describe the massacre that ensued as Rage tore through the men like a ravenous wolf through a herd of defenseless sheep. When the smoke cleared and the dust settled, every last gun-toting gang member was lying on the floor next to the limbs and organs that had been ripped from their still twittering bodies. Rage stood in the midst of the carnage, blood-stained and quite aggravated. He surveyed the scene and spotted the passed-out woman who had indirectly been the source of all the commotion.
Not bad. She'll do for tonight.
On his way to the bar's exit, he stopped and rifled through one of the slain Diablos' pockets and retrieved a small wad of cash.
Hey, Pops. These guys will pick up my tab.
Rage then calmly made his way out of the bar. The bartender stood frozen in disbelief. This was definitely not a common occurrence at his bar. Rise of the GodKillers. Next episode, Love Me Good, Red Eye.
If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to comment and let us know what you enjoyed about the content. Also, remember to like and subscribe so that you can be notified when upcoming chapters are posted to YouTube. Thank you for joining the channel.